Hey there, Tempo Storms Redact here, coming to you today with a video about callouts on Lijiang Tower's garden. First thing I'm going to show you before we go to any specific callouts, this is spawn area here, but to understand there is a left path here that a lot of people don't use. So we'll call this upper spawn. You got spawn area, this area generally here, and upper spawn. Got a little pathway here that leads down to the left side. As you can see, it goes outside. But that'll help put a lot of things into context when I call this out. But either way, first spot we got here is lounge. Down below, you can just call this lounge to floor level, and upper lounge up top here. Got spawn and upper spawn, this path up here, and then we got hut. We reserved the word house for the big one in the middle, and this is just a nice little one on its own, so it's easy to call it hut. So we got hut there, and then we got mid. This specific spot we'll call arch, so you kind of can call out where people are coming from. So you know they're coming out of arch here, or they're coming out next to arch when they come out here. Then we got mid here with the mid med. We got a house here we're going to call dragon. There's a reason being that there's quite a few houses here, so it's a little bit hard to level everyone hut, house, tower sort of thing. But also the fact that both sides have a really big dragon in it, and dragon's an easy word to sort of use, and it's very distinct compared to a lot of other stuff. So we got upper dragon and dragon, and then outside here we got perch. This is a really important one to sort of have a specific name for, mostly because it's a really good flanking spot, and when enemies get you by surprise you need to have a really distinct location to call really quickly. So this is why we call it perch, mostly because let's say you were defending, you just killed their team, you can easily get behind with a soldier or McCree, and up here when they push bridge it gives you a really strong vantage on where their team is, and ultimates like McCree or Soldier or even using a Widowmaker, this is a really good spot to get your picks from. So the sooner you can call people doing that to you, or sooner you can let your team know where you're going, they can more easily play around you or play around the enemies that are using those things against you. But either way, we'll get back to the callouts. So we got dragon here, and this little spot, this path here, we'll just call it path. Mostly because there's no other area we call path, but also there's no really discerning features here that you can use, and it's really hard to call left side behind point or something like that, or outside a point on the other side across the water. But either way, this is path. This room here, just like the control center map, we'll call this a white. Mostly it's a really white room, it's really easy to use, it's a single syllable word. So you can say they're coming to point from white, so you know they're pushing this way, or they're going to white, so you know they're going this way. It doesn't matter, you don't have to call the specific spots, but if the enemy team starts heading this general direction, you can't fight them yet, and you want to prepare to fight them here, you say they're coming white, and your team can sort of get in the right position to do that, or abuse that. But either way, getting to the point here, we got point. Again, hoping that one was a bit obvious, but we'll see. This area is point here, you got the pillar in the point. Lucios like to dance around that one. You got the two windows, easy just to call those window. They're coming in through window, etc. when you have a player dancing in between in and out to contest the point. And then we got balcony here. You can call this ledge as well. Ledge is a single syllable word, so it's a bit easy to use. But also because sometimes you'll have a roadhog or something peeking out here, getting a hook going back, and you say he's peeking out ledge, so you know exactly where he's coming out here. You got the two sides here, so it's easy to stick with our ledge and their ledge. Our side of the map, their side of the map, their ledge, that sort of deal. A lot of the King of the Hill maps you'll find you'll be calling things ours and theirs, and this is where it'll get a bit more important. Our perch, their perch, and when you're out in the middle here, they're coming through their bridge, just here. Bridge probably being the most common place to push in the whole game to get to the point. So you got their bridge, our bridge, you got this area, we call it outside. Mostly because it feels like this is the main outside area, it's an easy word to use. So we got their outside, our outside, and you got the pole in the middle of the outside, or you just say they're just an outside when you're referring to this sort of an area. Outside in front of house also works here when you're inside of this area. And this area we'll call this house itself. Outside their side of house, behind their side of house is when they're, or our side of house is over here. It's really hard to call it left and right. If you tried to call it left side of house, right side of house, again, depending on team's perspective, it flips around, or wherever your team is. If someone's here at the back of house, this area is here, back of house, and the back of house med, their perspective is flipped around. So left and right isn't generally the best sort of way to call these ones. And then we've got house itself, right inside the house. there's not too many other areas that I can see in this one here, but mostly remember that there's this one pathway here, and there's a lot of ways to get into white compared to what you normally see, since most of the fighting generally happens around bridge and the rock over here in the middle. You generally will be calling these ones the most, so keep those in mind, but otherwise there are quite a few specific spots over here that are actually quite important, so it's really good to remember the labels for those ones. But I hopefully enjoyed this video, hopefully it was really informative, and thank you so much for watching.